Welcome back. In this video, we are going to discuss how to add images to our Android application. So it's very easy to understand once you had the continuation from our previous classes. So if you want to add images to the Android application using Flutter, there is a class name called image class. First, try to understand what's the constructors that are available in image class. From there, we are going to understand there are two ways to add images. We are going to do both the ways. So let's move on. This is the image class. In this image class, we had a default constructor, image constructor. This is the first one. First one is the image constructor. Using this, we can add images. Or we are having one more constructor, that is image.asset. This is one more constructor. So when we are going to use image.asset constructor, if your images are bundled within your application, then we want to go with image.asset constructor. Similarly, if your images are in, there are few more constructors. We are going to how to use these constructors in our coming classes whenever it's required. If your images are in files, then you have to go use this constructor image.file. If from the memory, image.memory, from the network, you have to use this constructor image.network. Now we are going to use image.asset constructor and image default constructor. So how to use this? Let's try to understand with an example. See, in the app bar, means in the scaffold, in the body, center, we have to keep the image in center. That's why we are using center. So you know this center class from our previous project. We already used this center class from previous project. In this, we are using a child. In the body, we are having a child option. There we are calling image.asset. This is the constructor we are calling, means we are creating an image object. So what's the meaning of bundled within in your app? If images are bundled within your app, then we go with image.asset class, asset constructor. What's that mean is, see here on the right hand, on the left hand side, in the lib, inside the lib, assets, inside that images, inside that images we have copied imgg.png, this is one image, om.jpg, this is another image. So if your images are bundled within your app, then we go with the image.asset constructor. Now check the constructor, image.asset. First one is string, name. You have to give the path of the image. Remaining all properties are optional properties. This is compulsory property. You have to provide the path of the image. Then only your image is going to be displayed. Now, so before, when you copy your images inside this assets images, and you have to do one more thing if you want to access the images. On the left hand side, you are going to have pubspec.yaml file. You open this file, pubspec.yaml file. When you open this, inside this Flutter, you have to write like this. See, assets, you have to mention the images path here. Then only you can access the images. Lib, inside the lib, assets, images, om.jpg is one image. Lib, assets, images, imgg.png, this is another image. Or you can simply mention images slash, leave it like that. It is going to access all the images that present in images directory. So anyhow you can do that. So once you mention the image path, see, now let's try to understand. Once you mention the images path, check the coding. Images.asset, see, this is the path, lib assets images slash om.jpg. Once you execute this, this is how the output looks like. The image has been taken the full length of the body. Whatever the container that available, it is going to take the full length. Suppose if you want to fix the size of the image, then you have to mention width and height of the image. So these are the properties that are available in image.asset constructor. See, once you execute this, see, the height and width of the image has been fixed. And you need to understand one more thing. Suppose if you mention only width of the image, you did not mention the height. So which height it is going to take? See, the height has been considered automatically, the height of the image considered by Flutter. How it is going to consider? What height it is going to consider? These things you need to understand. In order to consider the height, when you fix the width, in order to consider the height, it is going to keep the aspect ratio. Suppose your image will have some aspect ratio, means aspect ratio is equal to height by width. We call it as aspect ratio. Height is to width. We call it as aspect ratio of your image. Suppose if your image is 800 by 600, 800 pixels height, 600 pixels width, it's given width and height, width multiplied by height. So 600 by 800, this is what your aspect ratio is. In order to keep the aspect ratio, how height is going to be calculated? Suppose if you fix the new height, if you fix the width of the, here in this example we have fixed the width. What's the width? 200 pixels. Once you fix the width, how it is going to calculate the height? Now it will calculate the height. New height is equal to aspect ratio multiplied by fixed width. This is how it is going to find the new height. In order to keep the aspect ratio same, in order to keep the aspect ratio same, it is going to find the new height is equal to aspect ratio multiplied by fixed width. So this is the formula used by Flutter to calculate the new height once you fix the height, once you fix the width. The same way it is going to calculate, if you fix the height, it is going to calculate the width. Now coming to the second way, this is one way. Which constructor we have used here? Image.asset constructor we have used. Suppose if you want to use image constructor. See, directly you can use image constructor here. See, we have used image constructor. So what happens if you use image constructor? Let's check the documentation. If you use image constructor, all the values are optional parameters. Inside this it is given as required parameter. So image, this is the property which we are going to use, and the image should consider the object image provider object. It is an abstract class. From this abstract class, 4 subclasses has been derived, and one of the subclass is asset image is the one of the subclass which derived from image provider class, image provider abstract class. Hoping that these basics you already know what is meant by abstract class and all those subclasses concept. We are following this from previous classes. You can understand. You check the documentation for this asset image subclass. In this you need to mention the path. The same thing you have to do it again. So lib assets image home.jpg, and there are some operators, the properties that present in that width and height properties. Once you execute this, let's check what happens if you execute this. See, the image has been considered. So this is the basic understanding you need to get on images. In the coming class, next class, most of the times we are going to use images inside a box, means inside a container. So the discussion about container class has been discussed in our previous classes. So now in the coming class we are going to use how to keep images inside a container, and there is an option called box fit. Inside that box, see here, box fit. So about this property we are going to discuss. There are so many options available for box fit. So what's this class and how it is going to fit inside that container, all those things we are going to discuss in our next class. Hope you understand the concept. If you have any questions regarding the concept, please post your questions in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel and press bell icon for the latest updates. Thank you.